It's a story as old as the ages. One day you trip on a footpath, the next day you're in the High Court. Well, that's kind of what happened to Mrs. Ghantous anyway. She was walking along a 40-year-old footpath in Sydney when two other ladies walked towards her. She moved to one side and she tripped. Her ankle twisted and she fell because the ground beside the footpath had subsided over time and it was 5 centimetres lower than the level of the footpath. She was injured and she sued the local council for their failure to properly maintain the footpath. Now, most of the High Court judgment focused on an issue called malfeasance and nonfeasance. This is an old common law rule that public authorities with control of the Queen's Highway can't be sued in negligence for failing to do things, because they don't have limitless budgets. Justice Callanan, however, wasn't having any of that. In his mind, footpaths sometimes subside and they're sometimes uneven, and these are obvious risks that pedestrians should keep an eye out for on their own. He said, "The world is not a level playing field. It is not unreasonable to expect that people will see in broad daylight what lies ahead of them in the ordinary course as they walk along. No special vigilance is required for this." The applicant herself admitted in cross-examination that she knew before the day of the accident that the earthen surface was lower than the concrete surface. In the Civil Liability Acts, risks of this type are defined as obvious risks. A person is assumed under the legislation to be aware of an obvious risk, and so this means that if they continue to accept the risk, in this case by walking along the footpath, they are very likely to be considered to be a volunteer accepting the risk. This means there will be no liability towards them. It would have been different if the footpath had been negligently constructed or if there was some other actual negligence which affected its use. But some risks are obvious, and we're all expected to keep our eyes open and to behave with some level of care for our own safety. Mrs. Ghantous failed in her action.